I think the Rhodes Scholarship is a wonderful opportunity, of course, to study at the University of Oxford first and foremost. They provide you 2 years of funding to study the courses of your choice and develop your intellectual and academic interests in the way you want to. And I want to study philosophy and literature on the scholarship at Oxford. But more than that, it also gives you access to a lifelong community of Rhodes Scholars across the world who you can have conversations with, who you can, not only academic conversations, but also one of the most important Rhodes values is how do you bring your personal convictions to bear upon the world. And I have an interest in teaching and in building a strong humanities education in India. So I think I'll be able to pursue both my personal intellectual interests as well as my vision for India and my community through the scholarship. So, as you know, NLS is now an increasingly interdisciplinary university, and my degree was not only in the law but also in the social sciences and the humanities. So, from the first year onwards, when I had my classes in sociology, history, I think the expanse of possibilities which humanities offers you, it allows you to contemplate the human condition in, as Rilke says, in all its terror and its beauty. I think that's what really draws me to the humanities generally. Philosophy, again, it's a discipline which has persisted since the ancient times, asking the big questions of life, which I think all of us ask at some point in our lives. And then literature becomes a canvas on which you can pitch these questions and ask these questions. So I think it's the pool of these disciplines and the faculty at NLS which kind of allowed me to nourish this initial germ of interest. I think NLS has been the most obviously transformational 4 years of all our lives, because we come from school and I remember like Pratap Bhanu Mehta gave the commencement speech during our orientation, and he said that we're going to transition from teenagers to adults, from students to intellectuals, and I think that's been true in all senses of the word. Of course, inside the classroom I got to experiment with ideas, I got to write daring papers, I got to think without use. I could, read a poem without having to justify why I'm reading it. So obviously all of that happened inside the classroom, but also outside the classroom. Through reading groups out of syllabus was my refuge for the 4 years, through film screenings, through late night walks, conversations with friends, morning metro rides to the Bangalore International Center. I think like it's been a wonderful 4 years of undergraduate education, of learning yourself, learning about the world, learning what you didn't know existed. So yeah, I think NLS is all of this belongs to NLS in some way. Of course, I think my teachers were my biggest support systems, mentors, who helped me not just through the Rhodes process, because that just happens in the 5th year, but through the 4 years of NLS education. I want to mention obviously Professor Atri Majumdar, who's mentored me since my first year sociology class, like asking me to do daring things, encouraging me at different points in time, giving me constructive and harsh criticism on my writing. So obviously I want to thank her first and foremost, but also my other referees in the process, Professor Sudhir Krishnaswamy and Professor Shoumya Ghosh, but also all the other faculty who I've had conversations with throughout this process, who have taught me, encouraged me, and who I've learned a lot from. Outside NLS, I want to thank my political science teacher from class 11th, Ms. Swati Verma, in whose class I first found my inclination to theory, and she's also my one of my referees for the Rhodes, and my French teacher, Miss Vibha Gopalakrishnan, who also wrote a character reference for me for the Rhodes Scholarship, and of course my friends and family, without whom I couldn't have done any of this. I think the Rhodes process is actually the biggest and most important aspect of the scholarship, in my opinion, because I think it comes at a time, especially in the 5-year program, but also in other programs, when you have gone through 3 or 4 years of undergraduate study, and you're at a point where you have a host of experiences with you, but you don't necessarily think about how those experiences have shaped you. And the Rhodes Scholarship allows you a structured way in which you're first writing your statements and saying how have all the conversations, all the classes you had, all the experiences you have, how have they shaped you? So it's almost a really like a soul searching experience where you first put it down on paper, and then in the interviews you have these very interesting conversations with people who are genuinely interested in knowing about you. So none of the questions they ask are GK questions or factual questions, right? They're really interested in knowing why is it that you chose certain things, what have those things done for you. And for me, the last 3 months, more than 3 months, have actually just been about this. I've learned more about myself. I think I would say scholarships are a means to an end, and some people have this from because of the way things are communicated. Sometimes people make scholarships as the end in itself and like larger than life. I think ultimately you have to have a passion and an interest in what you want to do with study, with education, with the world, and then scholarships come to assist you in that process. And I mean, one takeaway I've taken from this whole process is that you cannot get the Rhodes or any other scholarship if Rhodes is your dream. That cannot be your dream. Your dream has to be, I want to do philosophy, I want to do law, I want to do literature, no matter what. And I'll apply for the Rhodes and maybe they'll help me do it. But even if I don't get it, I'm anyway still going to do what I want to do. So I think that really has to be the bedrock of any application. And you cannot, in my opinion, engineer for it. You cannot spend your undergraduate degree planning for the scholarship. You have to spend your undergraduate degree collecting a host of experiences, following your convictions, and doing all of that, and then see if what you have done speaks to the vision of the scholarship you're applying to.